Sports card family, we found out what's actually inside Kurt's Card Care and possibly other cleaning products within the sports card hobby. Stick around. What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day, another sports card video back from England, back from across the pond. It was a great trip, but man, it was nice to sleep in my bed last night. Went to sleep at like 7:30 p.m. Eastern to all the time change stuff. I was so jet lagged and then woke up at like 7. So just literally got like a zillion hours of sleep, which was nice. Good to be back with you, Alf. Always a man of few words. Also, right before I went on my trip, I did nail down this big one. In London, my daughter and I saw the Stranger Things First Shadow play at the London Theater, and it gave some nuggets. There's some stuff, there's some valuable information in that play. It's a prequel to the show that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what's coming in season 5, but I was able to nail down this big one. I shared it on IG. It's the only one-of-one auto base card gold that I've ever seen out of any Stranger Things set. And I knew the guy that had this. Actually, I knew a couple of guys, with the guy that owned it before him. And I've been trying to get this card for the last, 18 months or so. And it was on eBay for a long time for $20,000 OBO. It is a one-of-one. And he did give me a heads up a couple weeks ago, hey, this is going to hit auction the coming Sunday. I was able to nail it. So I'm really excited to get the Hopper one-of-one gold auto, my favorite character on Stranger Things. If you've never subbed with PSA, take $25 off on me. One card minimum, SCD 25 at the shipping and billing screen. $25 off to give PSA a try. Check it out. I've got links down below that'll give you all sorts of hobby company discounts. All right, a great video came out recently from Opossum Bud. This is a Pokemon YouTuber, highly entertaining guy. He's really funny, hilarious dude. I've been watching him for a couple of years now. He came out with a video, this was a few days ago, I believe, and it was about Kurt's Card Care and the ingredients inside. And this looks to be something that was released, the paper was released January of 2024. I'm just learning of it now, so maybe I'm way late to the game on this paper, but this was brought out by Kurt's Card Care to show the ingredients and then also to give warnings, because there are certain ingredients, of course, if you inhale them, if it gets on your skin, you can have issues. So anyway, they published this paper. Again, I saw this on Opossum Bud's video, and we'll look at a couple of the main ingredients here. There's a non-hazardous ingredient as kind of the first one on the list. Isopropanol is kind of the second there on the list, which is essentially rubbing alcohol. Now, the percentage of the solution, we're talking about the Kurt's Card Care spray, is not shown. That's proprietary information. That's fine. And then ethanol denatured is listed as the third ingredient, and we don't know the percentage of ethanol that's in there. And then the last one, it says proprietary detergents and preservatives, and it doesn't really classify exactly what that is. So we don't know, if it's 99% rubbing alcohol or if it's 5% rubbing alcohol and all the other things. We don't know the percentages. That's proprietary information. That is secret, trade secret to Kurt's Card Care. But I think the main thing that it does clear up, and what Opossum Bud is talking about in his video, is these are chemical compounds. So it's not Kurt's saliva. No, these are chemicals that are going on the cards in the spray. Now, of course, like I've said in previous videos, nothing against Kurt. I've actually heard that Kurt's a really nice guy. I've never met him. I don't know him. Hell, I did a poll going back, I think a year ago now or something, asking, are you in favor of card cleaning or not? And it's like 60-40 no to 40% yes. Which means there's a large percentage of the hobby that thinks that this is totally fine, and he's got thousands and thousands of customers. So this is something that is happening. For all intents and purposes, it seems to be here to stay. Now, PSA has come out against it. They have come out against it. They consider this to be altering cards. And if you look, Kurt does do, fixing dents and fixing things and soaking things and that sort of thing, which again, each hobbyist is going to make up their own mind. I'm not going to tell people how to make up their mind on stuff. I just have my own personal feelings on this when I'm buying cards. I have a lot of cards that I'm just buying and holding long term because A, I love the cards, and B, for some of them, I think from a value perspective, they could have the opportunity to rise in value over time. We're talking about over a long period of time. The analogy that I've always made here is just simply, if you are buying singles, if you're buying a card, let's say that you're at a card show, let's say you're standing in front of a card dealer, not a car dealer, a card dealer, And he's got one that says, restored. This one, we used a solution on it, or we worked out a dent on it, we restored it, let's just say. And then you've got the same exact card next to it that hasn't been restored. No, this one has not been. Are you going to be willing to pay the same price knowing that this one, had some issues with it and they were fixed or restored? I know that I wouldn't. I would look at it and say, okay, this is refurbished. It's kind of like when you're buying electronics on Amazon and you're looking at the refurbished versus the new. When you buy a new one, the expectation is that's brand new out of the box. That's a brand new item, the electronics. Let's say you're buying a PlayStation or whatever it is, you expect it to be new. Whereas the refurbished one, maybe it had an issue, whatever, open box value, whatever. That's not brand new. It was taken out of the box and there was some issue with it and it was fixed. It was, refurbished. You're always going to pay a discount for that thing. The electronics store or on Amazon, it's not going to be the same price as the new one. And to me, this just feels like common sense. Card cleaning / repair is good for the short-term sellers of cards and collectibles. It's not good, or I guess it's potentially not good. There's risk associated for long-term collectors / holders of that particular collectible. Short term, it could make the card look shiny. It could make it look better. It could work out whatever issue it had. We've seen instances where stains have been worked out of cards and then they come back later and then it's in the graded holder and it's graded, a certain number, but it's got a stain on it. And so if that stain had been visible when grading, of course it would not be that great. Not to mention PSA's updated terms and conditions to where, look, if there's any sort of cleaning, altering, repairing, it's pretty much all thrown in there that they can decertify certs that are shown to have issues like this. And we've seen it. We've seen it over the last few months where PSA, they learn of something going on with a vintage baseball card and they decertify that cert number. Where does that leave the long-term holder? I don't want to find out later on that, half my collection just got decertified because they found out that, down the line somewhere, this was cleaned or restored or repaired. And then I bought it unknowingly and, I guess I'm just out of luck there. And so the biggest issue is we don't know the long-term effects. We don't know the long-term effects of this stuff. In the short run, maybe it's okay. But in the long run, what does it look like? A card that comes to mind here is a 96 Topps Chrome Refractor, the Kobe Bryant rookie card that greens, it hulks. This is something that's pretty well known in the hobby where there are some of these look totally fine and some of them kind of turn green and people will pay a discount. Typically, they'll pay less for the green version. They'll pay a premium, they'll pay more for the non-green version. Some people, they don't have an issue with it. Some people, they have a big issue with it and they just don't want the greening. Now, I've looked at Blowout. There's different people that throw in their 2 cents on this. Nobody really knows exactly why it greens. Some people say it's from sunlight, from air. Is it from card cleaning? Not necessarily, but it's just that some of these turn green over time just naturally. Maybe it's a manufacturing defect. Nobody really knows. It's all speculation. So this can happen anyway from sunlight, air, can change how cards look, let alone if you're adding some sort of a foreign substance to it or if you're working something out, if you're changing the composition of that cardboard. We just don't know enough information. And what is it going to look like in 20 or 30 years? It might be totally fine. Maybe the cards haven't changed at all, or maybe they have. And that unknowing, just the not knowing part, is what bothers me about this sort of stuff. But again, I've been told I'm an idiot for thinking like that and I shouldn't be worried about it. It doesn't have any sort of effect. Okay, maybe I'm just a paranoid old man. That might be the case. Who knows? Maybe I'm just out of touch. But I think that regardless of where you sit on this issue, whether you're pro card cleaning or against card cleaning, it's good for the public at least to know kind of what they're getting into. If you're buying singles, there's all sorts of pitfalls in this sports card hobby. It's just things that we have to keep in mind when we're buying cards is that it might be something that's been cleaned. It might be something that's been adjusted, altered, restored. We just don't know. So when we're spending our money out there, we just have to be mindful of, here are some of the risks that are associated with sports cards, especially when you're spending significant money on cards. And for each person, that's a different number. $100 might be a lot for one person. $100,000 might be a lot for another person. It's all relative, so just stuff to keep in mind. But this was the first time that I actually saw the ingredients. And thanks to Opossum Bud's video, you can check out his video. I'll put a link in the video description. He talks through it as well. So let me know your thoughts, my friends. Stay healthy, stay awesome. Hope that you have an amazing holiday weekend. Talk to you later.